What's your face?
I don't know. It just kind of happened. So anyway, how's your week?
Oh.
Alright, is any of that usable?
Let's see. I demand to know what you've done. Have you spent this afternoon painting yourself green?
Can you imagine?
Like, I can.
You would be none the wiser because I'm green anyway. My videos always green on your end.
What's funny is I can't imagine you going like, this is going to be a good use of my time. I'll paint myself green.
For the podcast listeners, I'm invisible right now, and all that you can see on our Zoom call is my teeth and my eyeballs.
And it's incredible. It's actually the most incredible thing I've ever seen.
All right, let me try to.
Wow. Okay. What have you done?
Oh, it's just because it's on like the virtual background thing, and I chose like to do it with my green screen, but I don't have my green screen up right now, and so
Okay.
everything is wonky. Let's see if this will change it.
Well, it's amazing, is what it is.
Now I've frozen. All right. So
I've just started recording.
okay.
Oh my god. Oh, that's good. But no, I built a new desk, and I'm over here on the other side of the room, and I've got a nice little shelf system going on here.
It looks nice.
Yeah, I'm kind of pumped on it. It's very chill. I enjoy it.
I don't really know if I'm being totally honest how to make it not this.
That's okay. I mean, I normally just minimize that window anyway.
Okay. Oh.
So it's fine.
It's only for my benefit anyway.
I normally have it. I normally have it muted and like just shut off anyway.
Okay.
Like I normally have. Wait. Okay. If I have you just whatever you just did. You're now just eyeballs again. This is the funniest thing in the world. I'm gonna take a sniff of this.
You're gonna take a sniff of it.
A snip.
Oh, a snip of it.
Oh my god. This is so good.
All right. I'm glad you're enjoying it so much.
It was just
I had no idea when I did this that it was going to cause so much enjoyment.
My chest hurts. Bro, my chest hurts.
There we go. I had to fix your little webcam situation there.
Oh man.
All right. Well, we're here.
we are indeed out here.
I do really like your setup. It's pretty with the orange Stormtrooper helmet complements the Dune book underneath it quite well. Quite nice.
Yeah. I'm digging it. We're getting there. Hang on, I'm gonna post this in our Facebook group.
Okay. So, turns out the Attack on Titan Season 4 finale is not a finale.
Is that the thing that you were like, no, Jeremiah, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not continuing.
So
it's not continuing, Jeremiah.
Your little brother was correct.
Okay. See, this is me not being surprised.
Well, it's confusing because
why was my audio dynamically scaling up? The heck?
I don't know, but the last podcast I was booming because I did
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I did not apply much elbow grease to the audio edit, so I apologize.
No, you didn't. Bree said I sounded awful.
Bree said you sounded awful in the last episode?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you didn't sound great. I just needed to boost your gain a little bit. Because I was a little dominating.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I don't touch your audio. Like what you send me is pretty much it. Because you already applied the Adobe filter effect to your
sauce
to make it sound nice and pretty. So I don't really do anything in post to your.
I apply the sauce.
I just adjust the volume accordingly if I need to.
Yeah,
I didn't. I applied the filter to me, but then didn't go back and listen to it. I was just like full send that shit.
I mean, yeah. Why would you apply effort to the main thing that you do as a hobby?
Yeah. Well.
Too much work. Send now.
So anyway,
oh man.
Yeah. Regarding the Attack on Titan finale, that is not a finale.
Mm-hmm.
All of the marketing leading up to this thing was like they were pitching it, as the conclusion to like
the big Kahuna. That was it.
10-year arc. So I've been binging this show for the last 2 weeks, and there have been people that have been following Attack on Titan, as I understand it, for the better part of 10 years now.
Yeah, they've been following it closely.
Yeah,
that's been their main show.
So it's I shouldn't be as pissed as I guess all of the people that have been following it forever, but I guess they should probably have a little bit more understanding. I'm sure that they have a little bit more patience and understanding because they've been through this for forever now.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, I'm ready to wrap this shit up, man.
You're acting entirely self-interested. You're like,
I'm ready to.
I'm done.
I'm ready to move on.
Fine.
Well, that's that's how I roll with these things. I'm ready to, I don't like long drawn out entertainment. I like to get in and get out.
You've gotten your 2-week binge in, and you're ready to roll.
Right.
You're done.
Right.
Okay.
So,
that makes total sense.
So as soon as I saw, and I guessed leading up to this last episode, I was like, there's no, because it feels like there are a lot of loose ends still that they haven't even begun to tie up. And I was like, if we go into this last episode and it's just the standard 24-minute, it's a lot to tie up in 24 minutes.
Yeah.
There's no way. So
knowing all of the plot stuff that you would know about it by that point, you're expecting more.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what did they leave you on?
Blue balls, Isaac. Is what they left me on. Yeah. It was not a very satisfying conclusion to season 4 IMO, and now we have to fucking wait until winter 2022.
Ugh, that's not a real date. That's gross. Hate that.
For part 2 of season 4, I guess is what they're calling it.
That sucks.
I love the show though. The show itself is phenomenal. It's really, really good.
Yeah,
I'm enjoying it.
It's a solid show. I've enjoyed everything I've seen from it. So I'm not surprised that you like it.
Fuck Armin. That little whiny bitch can go straight to hell.
We don't like Armin?
I don't like Armin. I'm not a big fan. He cries too much, man.
Really? Okay.
He cries a lot. Yeah,
there is a lot of tears. There is a lot of tears in this show. You are right. There is a good amount of tear.
I don't want to be a Titan. It's too much responsibility. Get out of here, that shit. Get out of here.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of crying.
Yeah. You need to catch up though. It's solid.
I wish that I would have just started watching it when you started watching it. That way we could have something to talk about other than Falcon and Winter Soldier. Because I watched the new Foz today, by the way.
The new Oh, okay, yeah. I forgot what we've
given it the Foz moniker. It's called Foz.
I also watched it.
Okay.
What did you think?
I think it's funny that we keep going in on this whole. We keep trying to make these people who are clearly just freedom fighters bad guys. I love this narrative of like we have to hate them somehow. So let's figure out a way.
I actually disagree. I think they kind of reverse. I'm gonna choke on my cauliflower.
I'll do the forced choke on the camera as you're choking to death on your cauliflower.
My eyes like bulging.
Yeah. Too good. It's too good.
No, it felt like they sort of reversed course with the whole what are they called? The Flag Smashers.
What a based Alpha Chad name. Flag Smashers.
Yeah, so there was the concern in episode 1 that they were going to set these guys up.
Yeah.
I think you said as like the what Fox News views Antifa as.
Yeah.
Basically is like that was the angle that they were kind of going in. This episode portrayed them much more as like sympathetic, I guess, like in their because what they were smuggling vaccines for groups that had been kind of forgotten about post blip. Was like
they're giving some more nuanced. They really are. Credit where credit is due. They're allowing for some nuance now.
And then they set up what did the Flag Smashers call this other the power something? I don't know. There's another villain that they've just introduced that are giving the Flag Smashers some grief. So we've got a glimpse here that I don't think the Flag Smashers are going to be the main baddie in this, and
I was really worried about that.
I'm kind of relieved, honestly, that they're not taking that angle.
Well, and to a degree, like all media like this, everything basically involving the military. I don't know if you know this, but like the military, like the Air Force, for instance, when they were filming Top Gun, the Tom Cruise movie from the 80s, like they gave them a ton. Like they gave them easy access to like all of the military hardware that they wanted to film this movie because they knew that would spike recruitment numbers. And sure enough, it did. Like these movies, this media is propaganda to a degree. And it's okay to admit that you like it, but it very much is like you're consuming a form of propaganda. It's pro-American propaganda. It's called... It's a show that features the Captain America. Like it is
part
on
of that,
its
I was going to
face.
say part of that is baked into what Captain America even is in the first place. Like
right, there's a little bit of meta analysis to it, and that's fine. Mm-hmm. But I think that when we start talking about contemporary issues, like they had that moment where the police stop Falcon and Winter Soldier in the street when they're like in this neighborhood, and I can't take you seriously. Your bulging eyes on the Zoom call. They stopped him in this neighborhood, and the cops are clearly about to give Falcon some grief. And only when they realize that he's who he is, they like leave him alone. I think that was kind of like that. Those few seconds said a lot. I feel much better about the show in this episode, like you're talking about. Once they added that humanizing thing to the Flag Smashers. I thought that was kind of neat. And the fact that they have Emphas Ness from Solo, like that girl is back. She played Emphas Ness in Solo. I don't know if you know that.
She sure did. I also found out the guy that plays fake Captain America in this is oh fuck. God damn it. Now I've forgotten. Hold on. Hold on. What's his name? Something.
He played George Costanza in Seinfeld. His name is Jason Alexander.
Who plays fake Captain America?
Oh, hey, do you want to clap real quick?
Yeah, sure. 3, 2, 1. I don't know why you asked there, and the last 5 episodes we haven't done the clap, but
I'm just thinking because in
the
last 5 episodes,
caring now, you know.
In the last 5 episodes, we haven't clapped, and I've thought about that after the fact. I'm like, dang, we didn't clap.
It's been
again.
a fucking pain in the ass, dude. It takes me 15 minutes just to line up our clips.
You're welcome. Bro. You're welcome. Now, what you should do is you can make me look really stupid and just have me delayed agreeing with everything you say. Like, Look, I'll give you some stock.
Oh, okay. So he's Kurt Russell's son, is what I was.
You're so right.
He's Wyatt Russell.
That's true.
That's what I.
All right, there you go. There's your. Stock
I thought that was
vaguely,
mildly interesting.
No, that is interesting. And
I
see what you were saying.
I see.
You can kind of see the Kurt Russell there. I see it.
A little. It's in the chin. It's in the chin.
There was a side profile shot of him, and I was talking to Bree, and I was like, God, I would be unstoppable if I had a chin like that. That guy, just
chiseled.
I would be president at 25 if I had a chin like that.
You could. That's crack an egg on that thing, dude.
Just look at my profile.
Yeah,
and then draw up that image of fake Captain America. It's just we look like a different species. He's a specimen of a man.
His name is Wyatt Russell.
Yeah, like that.
He hasn't.
I think that they even did a decent job bringing him in. And they I kept joking as they were reading off his resume of overseas work and stuff. I was like, yeah, he's been silencing South American dissidents. He's been shooting people in the woods for a long time.
He's America's good old boy,
Yeah.
He's been dropping bombs on innocent civilians since 18 years old.
A highly accomplished predator drone
qualified
pilot
to represent this country with the shield.
Yeah, that's. I think that the show is wanting to address some interesting, nuanced topics, and I'm wondering to see if they're going to be a little more delicate than I gave them credit for.
If it's going to actually tackle these subjects, or if it's just going to sort of bring them up and then leave them.
I really feel like that's what happened on this one, but
a little bit,
episode,
and then especially the fucking the bomb that was dropped with finding out that there was a black Captain America in what was his name, Isaiah or something like that.
And Bucky just ignored him. It's kind of great. Bucky's, but he's just flabbergasted. He's like, "Why didn't you tell me?" He's like. Bucky didn't even have an answer.
They didn't. Well, they didn't address it at all. Yeah, they just left, and then there was the whole police confrontation scene immediately after because they were fighting in the streets about it. And then the show just kind of moved on from that and didn't really go back and talk about it. I assume it's going to come up again. Surely it will.
Those cops' radar went off that a white man was mildly uncomfortable, and they just flew to the scene. They knew.
Yeah, it feels like this show is definitely trying to tackle race, but you gotta do it. If you're gonna do it, don't pussyfoot around here. Let's talk about it. We've got a white Captain America. Again,
when there should have been when the movie should have gone to a black one.
Yeah. And it seems like on the surface he's qualified, but it feels like also that he possibly isn't as humble I guess as the Steve Rogers was. I'm getting big
Homelander vibes, early Homelander vibes from this guy. I'm going to make an early prediction. I think that what's going to happen is that this new Captain America, Russell Jr., I think that Russell Jr. is going to get frustrated that the down home approach that they're wanting to sort of have Captain America take isn't as effective against these supers. So I think that he's just going to choose the almighty, amazing force of violence. And it's going to be way heavy-handed.
He does kind of kick ass, though.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is I think that he's going to take a darker, more Homelander toned approach. And that's going to be the distinguishing feature. I hope, and I think they're setting him up to be a bad guy, and I'm hoping that that's what happens. But I know it's probably not a radical take, but
he suddenly went from sympathizing with Sam and Bucky to that last line that he had, suddenly having a great deal of hostility towards them.
A little bit of spice on that. Stay the hell out of my way.
Stay the hell out of my way.
He was pretty spicy.
Kind of came out of nowhere, and I guess it's because Sam and Bucky were he had tried to help them several times, and Sam and Bucky, basically spit in his face each time. So
yeah.
I guess it makes sense.
I think the show, I totally agree. I think they keep bringing up things that should be addressed, and I think they think they're addressing it so far by just bringing it up, and that's not.
Well, it's not. You also gotta come some slack too, because it is only episode 2, but they have only 4 more episodes left. This is a episode thing.
Is it just a 6 arc? Wow, that's.
I do like each episode being 40 minutes.
Yeah,
that's kind of nice.
It feels like it's got enough time to really walk out something at least. I do love though that you're dead on. Like Bucky, they have to confront the fact that there is a black Captain America in prison wrongfully.
Yeah,
Bucky has just spent the last 100 years and change just not addressing it.
Was experimented on by the U.S. government for
just
years.
Not talking about it.
Yeah. You would think a bombshell like that would, like, you can't just drop that and then not talk about it again in a 6-episode thing. Like, that's clearly a pretty big deal.
Man, that's wild.
Of course, it could just be a nod to the comics and there being a black Captain America in the comics too. Like, that could be all that is. But if that's all,
we need to bring in like a resident comic nerd. We need to have someone on when we talk about this stuff.
Because we ain't it. Is that what you're saying?
No, we're not. We're not at all. No.
No, we don't need any of those nerds on here, dude.
Get out of here, dude. What are you gonna do? Read a book?
These comic book elitists.
What? You're gonna open up a physical comic book? Jeez.
Stop reading some comics and go get some bitches.
Is that the take?
Yeah.
Is that?
Have we been? I guess this is a TV show and anime podcast now.
Yeah, that's what we do. That's all we do now.
I haven't been playing games very much at all.
No?
No. I did play through Miles Morales on my PlayStation 4.
What are the thoughts on Miles Morales?
It's a nice little morsel to sink your teeth into for how much is it? I think it's still like $50.
$75.
It's still $75. No, it's like 50. It may have been 40 even. It was like 20, 25 hours. I 100%ed the map over that time. It's more Spidey, if you really enjoyed the first Spider-Man, Insomniac Spider-Man, you'll like this. I think it's more of that, but he's got like some added super power abilities that kind of give a twist on just like the standard beat 'em up combat.
Yeah. I assume they brought in a new line of suits too, which is kind of one of the perks of Spider-Man games.
The suits are so fucking cool. Like, they do a really good job.
Yeah,
the suits. There's like an animated Spider-Man one. There's I said Spider-Man. Weird. We're just gonna
Spider-Man. There's animated Spider-Man.
There's an animated Spider-Man.
I love the Spider-Man games.
There's one from the Spider-Verse, like that suit, and they even incorporated like the there's like a mod that turns it into like that animation style too, which I couldn't.
That's cool.
I couldn't stomach for more than a few seconds because it's weirdly nauseating in a way that you wouldn't expect. Like it. The game is running at 30 FPS, but the animation is running at like 15 FPS. And so there's this really weird mind frickery that's happening up there when you're trying to use that suit. So I just stayed away from that shit. There's more of an emphasis on stealth that isn't in the first game. There's more abilities that lean towards like you being stealthy and playing that approach, which I enjoyed. I like that. And like I'm not going to sit here and lie and say that like I'm just like super concerned about like inclusion in games and like making sure that everybody's heard and seen. Like, I think that's all really important, but I'm not going to like die on that hill. But like Insomniac has done an incredible job. I think at like there's like a deaf character in this game that's like pretty prominent, has a lot of speaking lines.
What do the speaking lines sound like?
No, none of that. There's like one white character in this, and he's the villain, which I thought was kind of just noteworthy. Like very strong POC cast in this game.
Yeah, that's cool.
So I guess credit where credit is due there. That's cool.
Yeah, it's nice to have a game that reflects real life and it's not just all one dimension of one single.
Shit, it doesn't matter a ton to me because spoiler, like I'm really fucking white. But there are a ton of people that like maybe would not have gravitated towards the in fact, I talked to Jared, who was like, you know, the other one didn't really grab my interest, but the only reason why I would want to play this is because there's a black character as Spider-Man, and that's really fucking cool to me. I would love to play that game.
Yeah.
So, you know, I understand that.
The idea that entertainment has been kind of like, America has kind of been the default entertainment producing country for a long time.
Yeah.
And all we churn out is movies where dudes who look like us, again, chin thing, but like it's white dudes. Like white dudes are the default main character of everything. Sure. And I think that it's not a threat to white dudes to say, hey, let's maybe have like, you can sit this one out. Let's have someone who looks like the rest of the world maybe take a spin at this. Sure. I think that that's only a good thing. I don't know. Like it doesn't hurt me at all. So I say go for it, man. Like that's Miles Morales. It's a great storyline. I love it. That's cool. Yeah. And I think that just to do it to check a box isn't right. But I mean,
and I think that's kind of what I was getting at. You know, like it does feel like a lot of these games sort of shoehorn these sort of tropes in. Like as much as I think it's good to have a deaf character in a game, it did kind of feel like having a deaf character for the sake of having one. And I don't know if that's just like super noticeable because there aren't a whole lot of deaf characters. And so naturally the one deaf character is going to be very noticeable and very in your face. Like that probably is the case.
Mm-hmm.
But it did feel like, oh, okay, we're doing an inclusion thing here, you know. And I don't know what the solution is to that except for doing more of it, so that it isn't quite so jarring when that shit happens.
Well, I think I think the answer to that discomfort is to be more familiar with it, right? Like you get more exposure to it, and then it just becomes part of it.
It's not that it was uncomfortable for me. It was just like, oh, okay. Like I said, like it's just noticeable. Like I see what we're doing here, you know.
I think what I'm saying is I think the easily removed for different markets where you have like inclusion and diversity, like Star Wars is a good example. Like there's a kiss shared by two women at the end of one of the new trilogy movies, right? And
first of all, it's just having women in movies is
pretty horrible thing that they did.
Awful.
No, there's like this kiss that happens in the background at the end of one of the new trilogy movies for Star Wars, and it's clearly like done in such a way where when they ship it internationally, they can easily edit that out, say to like the Chinese markets where that's not something they would want in there. Like in the same way that they freaking took Finn off the poster in some of the overseas promotions. Like they will do that. Like if we count on corporations
and they didn't even notice.
if we count on corporations to like bring inclusion to us, they're going to do it in a way that benefits them. So that's kind of like, that's what I'm kind of not enjoying is like the easily just drop in place. I would rather have something that's holistically made where it's inclusion is just part of it rather than a box to check.
Yeah. Fair enough. It is a fun game. Go check it out. It's nice. I enjoyed it. Maybe catch it on a sale. I don't know that it's worth like a full price or anything, but it's fun. I also picked up Journey. I don't know if you've heard of that game. It's been out a long time, like 2010, 2012, maybe like that sort of time period. It's this indie game. It's supposed to have a very heartwarming story.
Oh, I had this on my PlayStation. I played this for a little bit. Yeah. I just remember fans.
I haven't played much of it at all, but like people talk about this game very lovingly. So I've been meaning to like play it forever, and I'm in a place right now where it's like nothing is really grabbing my interest, and when I like sit down to play a game, like nothing really jumps out at me, and so usually I just end up scrolling Facebook on my phone or watching anime, which is what I've been doing. And so I picked up Journey, and I played maybe a few hours. I don't really have anything to say about it other than the way that it incorporates multiplayer is really fucking cool, and it's like very seamless, and you don't notice that it's happening. Like I thought this game was an offline single player, or what I was doing was an offline single player session of this game, and I just randomly ran into another player in the world that was kind of doing their own thing, and I had this sort of like discussion with myself, like, is this an NPC or is this a real person? And I was trying to decipher if it was like part of the game or what's happening, because there's no visual markers or anything that like this is another person. So like floated over to this this person, and we just started like communicating in the only way that you're sort of allowed to at that point through like there's just like a very simple button press that does a certain thing, and then like that was literally it. But that was what let me know that this is an actual.
You emoted.
Yeah, basically. So I thought that was cool. That's really the only thing I have to say about that game. But
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
What about you, Chief? You been playing anything?
Yeah, so I've been playing. I played some Battlefront 2 today. I streamed that a little bit on our Facebook page.
We all did.
Then I have been playing a lot of Escape from Tarkov. Like that's been my main meat and potatoes. The Apex Legends rank reset split has happened. I'm back to Silver 1, so if and when anyone wants to jump in and just absolutely ruin people's day in that rank with me, please. Let's do that.
Are you wanting to play after this?
I can play a little bit. Yeah. But yeah, I've been playing a lot of Tarkov. I am not someone who really likes the granular like item management stuff in games, and that's a huge element of this. I didn't like it in Destiny. I certainly don't like it in this, where I have to manage specific calibers of bullets and stuff now.
Yeah.
But
some people find that oddly therapeutic, going through like because I mean it does take a lot of time, so I can imagine a mechanic like that to you, like that's not like when you sit down to play a game, managing your inventory is not something that makes that cut, that makes that part of
no.
So I understand
Papa want violence.
Yeah,
Papa want violence. Papa want click head shoot. That's what I'm trying to do on video games. I'm not trying to sit here and organize my stash, but that's a huge part of the game. So I'm kind of forcing myself to learn that and not just ignore it. Yeah. But I will say the game is blessing me with some cool moments where I'll drop some people and pick up their fully kitted weapons and then just like go on a spree and then like either extract with it, sell it, or just drop or just die. And both are fun to me. Like I'm just having fun. Like in no means do I have any desire to be good at this game. I'm just having fun with the gunplay and being a goober on it. So it's been neat. I don't know that I think it's going to be a game that, similar to CSGO, it kind of has an international following for a very, very, very long time. But I think it's going to be a niche game just forever, just by the nature of how hard and punishing it is for newcomers. So
are there any games coming out that you're like interested in that are coming down the pipeline?
I'm looking. I was reading for prepping for the pod the World War II Call of Duty, and it's been Call of Duty Black Ops. I had no interest in that game, and I now also have no interest in another World War II game at all.
Yeah, me neither.
Like I just I was wondering, well, if they just have the Warzone thing going, what are they going to do now that's going to be easily sort of like dropped into Warzone? Because if they're smart, they would keep Warzone running just indefinitely, because they have to be making hand over fist with that. So what are they going to do next? Like, is Activision just going to make America start a new war so they can have another conflict to make a game off of?
Turns out Activision is actually behind all of our all of our they're like behind the scenes, the puppeteers behind Russia and the US trying to start up
Activision
World War III. It's Activision just so that they can make a good Call of Duty game again.
They assassinate Kim Jong-un and then just like kick off a nuclear arm exchange. Yes. They're like, we're gonna take an L in the next couple of days, but man, we're gonna really love
it'll line our coffers later on, boys.
The first quarter of 2029, if we make it there, is going to be
really
rad.
Gonna reap the results there.
We're going to be bathing in it, boys.
If we can all just make it through.
No, I sent you the trailer for. There was a 6-minute trailer, and I'm actually interested. I'm interested in this game. I don't know that I'm hyped for it.
For what game? There's a trailer for Call of Duty?
No, there's a trailer for 6 Days in Fallujah. This is a different.
Okay.
This was the game. Okay,
I missed your segue away from Call of Duty World War II and into.
Yeah, I was kind of just jumping trains, but this is kind of a time travel thing. Okay. So while we were very much neck deep in the Iraq War, which we still technically we're going to be there forever because this is what we do now. Yeah. this was a game that was delayed. It was originally going to be set out for the PS3, I think, in like that era of consoles. And then like due to a lot of negative pushback of, hey, like the dirt isn't even really like set on graves of people who have died in this conflict. Are we really about to make a video game about this?
Yeah.
But they were making 6 Days in Fallujah forever ago, about the Battle of Fallujah, where like, dude, you talk about anything that represents the horrors of war. Like Fallujah was a terrible, I actually got to meet a veteran from that conflict at one point.
Wow.
And he was talking about it, and it was a nightmare factory, right? Horrible.
He was like, yeah, it sucked.
Yeah, he had the amazing take of
certifiable not poggers. Isaac
was bad. Yeah, F's for everything. Yeah, it was bad. But there's a new trailer out. It's like a 6-minute trailer for 6 Days in Fallujah. This is kind of featuring people who were there.
Yeah.
And there's still, and I don't know what my moral compass is telling me, but I don't know why I don't flinch at playing a World War II game where I know real people died in this conflict and it was a nightmare for those people as well. But there's just something that's different in my head about listening to a guy who was actually there, who exchanged gunfire with people, and then immediately pivoting to like on the screen where they talk about the cool like squad mechanics of this game, like showing someone like aiming down the barrel of an M4. Like it doesn't like, I don't know why it's different to me, but this
I don't know why it's different for you either. Cause like we, we're no strangers to making games about, the Iraq war. Like that's all games that we've played and enjoyed quite a bit.
For some reason though, like Fallujah specifically, knowing that this is like an actual place, like this, like the modern warfare games like to create fake countries, right? To kind of like dance around, like this is a different thing, right? But the fact that this is Fallujah in a modern war, like where, I don't know, it just feels way different. I
mean, it sounds like the only thing that's different is that they've removed sort of the artificial barrier.
Yeah, and I guess it's also communicating to me that I guess culturally enough time has passed and we've made enough distance between when this war has started to now we can fully go down the entertainment route with it. And I had wondered when that would happen, right? Like because we as a kid watched this war start, and I guess eventually we get enough distance emotionally from things where we just can appreciate them as entertainment. And I guess this is a signal that, we've arrived there and we're still at war. Like that feels different to me. I don't know how to fully describe the emotion, but it feels different.
It does also, I understand what you're getting at. There's the weirdness angle too of like this war is like ongoing, and so there's a potential like what are they doing with the game? I guess is my question. Like, is this going to be a very realistic? I don't know how you portray this in a non-biased way, but I could see this getting into some weird murky territory with like influencing public perception of a war that's like still currently happening. Like that feels weird to me. In a way that like the Iraq war is mostly wrapped up, we can make fictional games about that sort of time setting without ruffling too many feathers. Like, but I don't know. This shit does feel a little bit different. I will give you that.
And we make plenty of movies. Like we make movies about this conflict all the time. And I don't have any of the same qualms. Like I can appreciate the movie for what it is, but there's something you can get people so much more bought into your message when you physically have them pushing the buttons themselves, and you sort of are like actively engaging with and agreeing with the message being presented to you. Like that to me feels different in terms. We just talked about how like Winter Soldier and Falcon is propaganda. Like this is very and easily propagandable piece of media.
Now you're getting into sort of that discussion about whether or not games can actually lead somebody to, commit a violent act or like actually change somebody's perception to the point where they're gonna like go do that thing.
No, I mean I'm saying like at the very least, like tacitly endorse or start to warm up to an idea that they maybe were either neutral on or softly against. I'm not saying like this is going to get someone to shoot somebody, like by no means, but I'm just saying like you get emotionally attached and you present stuff that you can be a little shady with if you want. I don't know. It's
gotcha. Okay. How did we get here, by the way?
I talked about Modern Warfare and then the World War II Call of Duty game.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. Back to Call of Duty then. Is that something that you so you already said that that's not like vaguely interesting to you in the slightest, going back to World War II?
Not even a little. No.
Like what if I told you that it's rumor that it's an alternate timeline though? They're changing I'm serious, that they're changing the events of history.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So it could be like a Wolfenstein 2.
I'd say Wolfenstein already let me shoot Hitler, so I don't know what more
actually what more like kick Hitler in the face even.
What more can I do? Like I've already tasted the cream of the crop, man. Like that's all you want, right?
It feels like Activision has put all of these resources and like set up multiple studios so that they can like annually release these games, but didn't have the foresight to see that like we are moving away from that model. Right? Like we've had Warzone now for the last since like 2019, and that's not going anywhere. So it's like
nowhere.
And like what they're trying to do now with these, like still do it but incorporate them into Warzone, I think is a good idea, and it's smart, but it's also like I don't know anybody that's super keen on buying a new Call of Duty every single year. Like it just doesn't need, and we're out of ideas now. Clearly, like we're headed back to World War II, fellas. Like,
where's the Civil War? Why can't I beat someone from Oklahoma to death with my empty musket? Like, come on.
I mean, it's just
Activision, you cowards. Let me go into Oklahoma and beat people. Come on. I want to take a skillet with someone. Let's go.
At what point do you just do like a Master Chief collection version of Call of Duty and just like have all of the like different types of experiences that Call of Duty offers, you know, with like the Civil War era, which hasn't been done yet, I don't think. World War I and II, right? And then you got your modern shit. You got your Titanfall wall running shit, you know? Like, at what point do we just have a Call of Duty package like that where you can it sort of like super sample everything and everybody gets their fix, and it's just this constantly evolving, ever changing thing that is.
It just blows my mind that they want, and I know that it's the ultimate answer is money. They're a company, their job is to make money, but it's crazy to me that with Warzone being as successful as it clearly is, like it would be one thing if it were kind of fledgling, but this is a huge deal. Like people are still playing this, streaming it all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know why they feel the pressure to make an entirely new campaign complete with new multiplayer. Like you don't have to do that. Like you can release these little campaigns for like, make them for $30, release them as like something like a little ice cream for the people who want a new campaign every year. You know, like, and then double down on making paid content for Warzone, right? Like, just do that. I don't know why. It's funny to me that games who shouldn't be doing games as a service are doing that, but something that could so easily do that, Activision, and they're just like skittish about it. I don't know what the deal is.
It's clear to me at least that like they're still making money on Call of Duty. Like, pumping these things out every single year, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any goddamn sense, but it makes sense to them.
It has to be cheap to make.
People buy it, and it's still it's still the Call of Duty name carries a lot of weight for a lot of people that just own a console. Like, oh, there's a new Call of Duty out. Like, that's what I'm going to be playing for the next year. You know, so like, it's a no-brainer for a lot of people, I think. But it's like it just makes a whole lot more sense to me if you just release one, goddammit, and have that be the thing for the next couple of years, you know?
Yeah, like the Modern Warfare was a good game. The weapons felt good. It was a good game.
It would be one thing if they're like actually iterating and like bringing in new ideas and shit, but it's like we're not really. Like we keep going back. Like the only thing that's changing is the visual fidelity of these games, right? Like we're using the same weapons, you know? We're doing the same shit in terms of mechanics, basically. Like it doesn't like Assassin's Creed was a game that like came out every year for a while, but like every one of those releases was fundamentally different in pretty interesting ways. Like still the same formula, but each entry to that series did some interesting things. You know, so I think like you can justify it that way. But even Assassin's Creed got stale, and they went to the every other year model, which thank God. But I don't know.
They clearly are going to keep doing it until the sales numbers drop, and I don't know that they ever will, because like you're saying, it feels like kind of the default. Default purchase.
There was proof that doing the Black Ops release helped out Warzone like substantially. So like I think that alone, is probably enough for them to keep releasing Call of Duties. Damn it.
Hey, they're going to be doing it until we're 80, so go off. They're going to start 10 more wars so they can have a few more years of content. It's going to be awesome. We're going to be going to war with like Australia here before long.
Turns out
it's going to be great.
Missile launch tests that we're hearing about in North Korea, or is it actually just Activision?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want Activision to be brave enough so we can finally take on those stupid Australians. I'm ready. I'm ready for it.
Please.
It's about time. It's about time someone just kicked them down the road and put them in their place.
Taught those Aussies a lesson.
Yeah. This podcast, this entire group is firmly anti-Australian.
I'd be careful with that, dude. Those guys fuck with some. Have you seen the spiders down there, man? I don't know.
Very big.
I feel like spiders. We maybe don't want to pick a fight with.
We're releasing the Armored Spider Division.
That's not something I want to think about.
Unleash the spider missiles.
Did you hear that Microsoft is reportedly in talks to buy Discord?
Dude, this is after TikTok snubbed them too. That's so funny.
for $10 billion. Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. They tried to buy TikTok and Pinterest and they couldn't.
Wait, so what happened with the whole TikTok thing? Because there was that whole thing where like TikTok was a threat to U.S. security.
Yeah, and the deal never went through.
Well,
they couldn't finalize
the only thing that saved them in that was Microsoft saying that they were going to buy them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then now they're not.
That's not happening. Did TikTok just like wait that out until Trump was no longer in office and like
I guess so.
The public forgot about it and then everybody
there's no consequences for anything. Yeah, no, you just wait.
That's hilarious.
Just wait. Like nothing bad will happen to you if you just wait. You just wait long enough.
Really funny.
And nothing bad happens. Yeah.
All right. Fair enough. Well, now they're trying to buy Discord for $10 billion. Which seems like a lot of money.
Yeah.
I would assume for Microsoft that's like a fart in the wind, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that? I think it makes a lot of sense for Microsoft, because we've said several times, being like PC players and trying to play with people on Xbox, because like on our end we've got to load the Xbox app on PC and then join a group chat, and then like it'd be a whole lot easier if Discord was just integrated for Xbox users, so that it's all just fucking seamless. And especially with like having Game Pass on as many systems and platforms now as there are, I think it makes a lot of sense to have an app that's already across all of those devices in general. You just need to apply some integration into the Xbox platform, and then boom, you got a really good communication app.
It would be ridiculously smooth if they just made Discord the default communication for like the Xbox Game Pass stuff. Like if you have the Xbox app, you just communicate through Discord. That would be so intuitive and nice. Because you're right. If you're not a like, and I don't know why you would be like, if you're not very accustomed to using the Xbox app as a communication mechanism on your PC, it's not easy. It's not a very intuitive thing, especially if you're used to Discord. So having that on there would be awesome. Like I think that would be really cool too. And I can also see from a like business perspective. So Microsoft's web hosting stuff is called Azure. So Azure, and they don't really have a big sort of name on their service yet. Like they have their own properties on there. But like, for example, Amazon has Twitch on their web streaming service, right? Or like their web like supplier. So having something as big as Discord would kind of like boost their portfolio up so they can get more services on there. Sure. So it makes sense for them to like buy Discord, if only to integrate it on there. Like they put Minecraft on it, and Minecraft has billions of people playing it all the time. But yeah, I think that from both angles, this makes a ton of sense, especially because they kind of like missed the punt with Skype over the last year. Like they own Skype. They could have had a huge year with Skype, but Zoom took over, which is so funny to me.
That is fucking weird, and will never cease to amaze me how Zoom took off, but like established communication platforms that have been around forever just didn't. Like I don't. It's not like it does anything different than Skype, right? Right?
If anything, it was like less secure and like a little bit more janky. I think it might have been like we're using Zoom to talk to each other as we record the podcast. I think it might have been like a quick, free, and intuitive alternative. So I think it was just kind of a knock-on effect of they needed people early on probably needed quick fixes to do Zoom, to do like video conferencing. Yeah. And rather than like have everyone try to dig up their Microsoft account passwords and stuff, they just sent everyone a new thing. Yeah. And that just was kind of the roll-on effect of like people asked their spouse or their friends what they use for video stuff for their jobs. And then that was just how it spread.
Yeah.
Because I don't know that like I have to have a Microsoft account for my job and I have to like reset my password all the time because I don't use it for anything. Like I just have to use it when I use it.
I just went through this same problem with a teacher at my job who was trying to some other like company was sent her a link to a Microsoft. It wasn't Skype. I forgot what program it was, but they just assumed that our school like used Microsoft like logins and passwords and shit. And I was like, you don't have a school account with Microsoft to do this thing that they want you to do. Like, I'm sorry, but yeah, I don't know. Weird.
Yeah. So it makes sense to me that Microsoft is wanting a win right now because they don't have a big app. They don't have something like Facebook has with Instagram or Amazon has with Twitch. They really need something kind of big and community based. So this only makes sense. Now, if Microsoft is willing to take off a big chunk of the outright white supremacist and Nazi groups that organize on Discord, that'd be pretty cool. That'd be awesome. But that's going to be a big problem.
I think that's a lot of the worry right now for people that use Discord a lot is like, oh no, Microsoft is going to come in and be sort of this corporate overlord that's going to change this platform that I like to use the N-word on, like.
Yeah. No, I can't be a racist turd anymore. I would.
And it's very possible they just fucking buy Discord and just sit on it, and don't really do anything with it. Just
let it run.
Yeah, that's very possible too.
Buy it, move it onto Azure, and then just sort of let it roll as it is, and then just advertise it as we have billions of people on our web services. Why can't we have you? That would make sense. That'd be a good buy. They just bought Bethesda, so you see that they're making these big buys to sort of expand. Yeah. So they spent $7.5 billion on Bethesda. Yeah. So, and under this guy, so I was looking up, they've made some bigger purchases as well under this CEO. They bought Beam, which was like what they turned into their streaming service that failed. But they've been doing some like big buys.
Oh man, I forgot that they even had. I forgot what it was even called. What was the Xbox streaming service?
I'm trying to find it. So
the fact Mixer. We don't even Mixer. Yeah, goddamn.
Yeah. So Microsoft bought LinkedIn for $26.2 billion, GitHub for $7.5. They're trying to expand and do everything they can. So this just makes sense in like a lineup of big purchases that they've made. It wouldn't have surprised me if the TikTok deal went through. I don't know what. I mean, TikTok is huge.
Yeah.
So if anyone is in a comfortable position to like turn down Microsoft, like
they're doing fine. Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna do okay.
They're doing fine.
But yeah, so this guy Nadella, the CEO of Microsoft, has been making some huge purchases. So I think they're just going to keep rolling.
My question with that is like, at what point do we go? Like, they're buying a lot of studios, and it's cool because they needed to. Like, first of all, they needed a lot of like first party software that they did not have before. But at what point do we go, all right, slow down? You're buying a lot of shit, man, and you're like one corporation. Like, we're getting into territory where it's like kind of uncomfortable for me. Like, in my views, I'm like, they're gonna get a monopoly on a lot of this shit like pretty quickly at this rate. You know, I don't know how great that is for the industry as a whole, but
no, I don't think it's awesome at all. I think it's terrible, actually. You're like teeing it up for me here, but I don't support this. Shocker here.
Don't like that at all.
Yeah. But that's just, I don't know what you do with that. You know, like it's Microsoft.
Well, I mean, there's an element of like, this is kind of what we get, right? Because we've been fucking shitting on Xbox for so long now. Like, Xbox doesn't have games, and Phil Spencer came along. And I was like, well, fuck you then. Like, bitch, I'm gonna buy Bethesda. You know?
Yeah.
Like, they have the money.
I bought you Bethesda.
Yeah.
Say I don't have games.
Yeah. Bethesda's not enough anymore. Bethesda makes shitty games. Let's fucking buy some more. You know?
I'll buy the platform you talk trash about my company on.
I'll buy PlayStation. Just a drunk Phil Spencer sitting behind
He's calling
the
Japan. Drunk dialing Japan. Yeah. How much? It's Mr. Spencer online too. How much you want?
25 billion. I fart that out in a week.
Money isn't real. You can like hear the wind because he's on his roof, like staring down. Money isn't real. I want it.
Speaking of Sony, they shut down their stores for the Vita, the PSP, and the Vita.
Everyone who only cares about JRPGs as their sole personality trait is now screeching. Yeah, they're upset. They're very upset.
It does kind of suck though, because there's a lot. There's a lot of games here that like Sony hasn't been doing the work that Xbox has and bringing in these like backwards compatible games. Like,
I don't want to. They've made it explicitly clear they don't want to.
Well, they have that one executive guy that was like, I don't fucking understand why people would even want to play old games.
I love that.
Yeah. There was a Sony exec that was like, in response to all of these gamers that were like, do better, please. He was just like, Puh.
Have you seen them? They look like trash.
Literally, that was what he said.
And saying it to the audience of Sony people who buy like pristine PlayStation 1 consoles, like just to play these games, like that is so. No one could be more tone deaf in terms of like speaking to their audience.
And it just sucks because like there's no other way to, like, when those stores go down and you can't download those games anymore, other than like physical media, which is on its way out. There's no way to acquire that shit.
When you talk about
other than like pirating it, which is what people are going to do, but like that shit's illegal, and I don't know that we should be like praising that shit, but like at this rate, like there's no other way to do it. Like that's the only way that I support like pirating, is when there's no feasible way to acquire it other than pirating. Then I think
when the licensing holders clearly do not make an effort to give you it, to give you an avenue to it reasonably and legally, like I say go off. Like at that point, you're just trying to appreciate the created piece of media.
Well, there's like an actual argument there that like you're doing the Lord's work and preserving something that will otherwise just have been forgotten about. Right?
Well, that's what I'm saying, especially when you consider that a lot of the Vita's like successful games were indie based, and like now like they were mostly online anyway.
Yeah.
So what do you do with that? Like if a company was successful enough to get a good digital game on the Vita, but now the digital store is closed, game go by, like it's gone. There's no physical way to preserve that game other than just pirating it and emulating it. I hope someone like scans the entire like digital library and just saves it, because no one else will. I will.
I hope somebody is doing that, because Sony isn't.
Right.
You know? Yeah, please. Yeah. So it sucks. It sucks. I feel for people that are very interested, I guess, in like preserving game history, because that shit sucks. I get it from like, I guess, a business standpoint of like, yeah, of course it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to keep these stores around that for platforms that are over a decade old, right? Like, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense for these corporations to continue to funnel money into maintaining those sort of ecosystems. But
right.
At the same time, if you're not going to do that, at least put in the work to preserve like what's there, you know?
Yeah. Well, and they're giving everyone a few months notice before they do it. So I'm assuming that the sort of online market for emulators and pirate copies of games is going to get flooded here before long, because people are doing the Lord's work. They're sort of getting the only way we can still play these games available. So shout out to my big ARG, shout out to the pirates from this end of the podcast. You are doing the Lord's work. But yeah, it feels ooky. It feels ooky, especially as I'm sitting here staring at my machine chock full of SSDs and no CD or physical drive at all, right? Like, it's just, it's one of those moments where, like, that little itch in the back of my head of, like, we should have something physical. Like, there should be something real. Like, that just, it gets louder every time I read stories like this, you know?
I guess, but it's also like nothing lasts forever either, right? So it's like, I don't know. Like, even if you buy a bunch of physical media, I mean, I guess this is like post the PS3 era. Like, you still need to like connect to the internet in a lot of cases to play the thing that's on a disc, you know?
Sure.
So it's like even that shit, it doesn't really work. But
yeah,
hopefully we're seeing the the end of this problem, you know, because with PS4 moving into PS5, they've brought back, I mean, not every PS4 game, but certainly a lot of them at this point, you know. So hopefully we're seeing the end of this problem.
Yeah, for sure.
What else you want to talk about?
Sitting at just over an hour on the pod, man. I don't know. Looking at what they had, the John Wick director is going to be making the
Ghost of Tsushima. Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. I'm stoked about that. That's going to be cool.
That's a game that I enjoyed. That I would.
Yeah.
It's interesting picking the John Wick. Like, I think he'll be great, clearly, for like the action in a Ghost of Tsushima movie. I think that'll be sick. But like, that's a game that also was very careful in the way that they portrayed that time period and that culture, and like treated everything with a degree of respect that we don't typically see in the West, you know?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And like, that game was specifically praised for that by people even that lived overseas, that were like, yeah, that's fucking good on you for doing that.
This didn't suck.
My worry, and bear with me, is that the John Wick director is not going to apply the same level of respect to Ghost of Tsushima as
the John Wick director.
Yeah, I guess we should name the guy for our 7 average listeners. It's more than that. It's more than that. We're hovering around 20, you know.
I'm trying to look at his other stuff that he's done.
John,
because I actually think, like, if it were Michael Bay or someone directing this movie, I would be worried, right?
Yeah.
But Chad Stahelski, who's done The Matrix Reloaded, Captain America: Civil War, The Hunger Games, like, these are definitely popcorn movies, like The Expendables 2. He did Safe.
None of these movies are giving me any like, I don't think it's gonna be that kind of movie. It's not gonna be what Ghost of Tsushima was to like Japan in that time period. Like, I think it's gonna be a John Wick interpretation of, which again it isn't necessarily a bad thing. I think it's gonna be fucking fun. I'm gonna enjoy watching it. I think he's gonna do a great job.
Well, but there's a long history of like samurai movies being fun and being kind of like over the top. So like, it wouldn't be out of the genre to have a samurai like hack and slash Ronin movie. Like, that would actually be closer to what You can pick one or two lanes. You can either go the lane of like sort of going the campy like samurai over the top action movie, or you can do like a very close to traditional like almost like study of what it was like back then. I think since it's the John Wick guy, we're gonna get that first one, and we're gonna get kind of like a new modern like just people getting eviscerated with samurai swords. Which, dude, yeah, like let's go. I want to see that. That's gonna be cool.
I haven't seen a good samurai flick in a while either.
We should watch one soon. We should.
What was the movie? The last like really good one I watched, I think, was 13 Assassins,
which is a great movie. Which is really, really freaking good.
That one, maybe it was that one. I watched one that was in all black and white. That was, I think it was it wasn't an old one. It was a modern samurai flick, but it was shot in black and white, and it was so
stylized.
Yeah, it was so cool. I forgot what it was called. It was really good. I very much enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking to someone who I got into samurai movies because of the Wu-Tang Clan. Like they kept making references to stuff, and I was like, well, I got to start watching these things.
Yeah.
So I went through I can't remember any of the titles, but they're just so much fun. Like it's fun to watch kind of the campy acting coupled with like the pretty decent.
I searched for samurai movies, and The Wolverine came up.
I love it. Okay. Yeah, the one where he goes to Japan. That's a fun one.
That's on this list. Yeah.
Where he fights a giant mecha samurai piloted by a World War II Japanese
13
soldier.
Assassins, 47 Ronin, Blade of the Immortal, and The Wolverine. All right.
Yep. Classic samurai, widely regarded as the best samurai movies.
Turtles 3 is also on this. Oh, Scooby-Doo Samurai Sword is on this. All right, so maybe not a comprehensive list here, but
these are widely regarded,
well respected, well reviewed. Yeah,
you're a Ronin, Scoob.
Right. Let's end it there. Thank you guys for listening. Love you all. Kisses. Hope you guys have a great week. We'll see you on the next one. Actually, all right, so we're not going to have one next week because it's Easter's and I will be out of town seeing my family. So we're not going to record next weekend, so it'll be a couple weeks, but you'll be fine, you know? You'll be all right. You'll live.
I'll be streaming. I'll stream at the Easter dinner with my family.
I would watch that, honestly. You should. That's a pretty good idea.
I'll just have the camera up and won't say anything to anybody. Just start streaming. It's like, what's up, guys? Coming from my family.
All right, bye. What button do I click again to end this shit?
The trigger.